Hi, good day. My name is Mary Axil Paurum. I am a fourth-year BSIT student from USTP Visayan campus. Today, we will be talking about Java methods. Welcome to Java 101. This topic, this video actually will just be a quick, brief, easy, and a direct discussion about it. Just a quick run through and on the basics of Java methods. Now, the first thing that we need to do is to actually know more about the basic information regarding Java methods. So, here we go.
So, first things first. What is a method? Well, a method is a block of code or codes which would only run or work when it is called. The data which is being passed on into a method is called the parameters. The certain actions which a method performs are known as functions. Now later on, I will be giving examples of a code with methods in them for us to fully understand what a method is.
Now, before we proceed into creating a method, we wouldn't actually be able to make one without us knowing its syntax code. What are syntaxes? Well, syntaxes are basically the correct structure and the set of rules which a computer programming language is using. So, you see, it's just basic programming. We have been using the word syntax ever since we started studying and hearing IT. It would be such a boost if we wouldn't even remember what it is and how important it is to programmers like us. Not yet professionally, but we're actually getting there. Now that we're done with that quick recap for syntaxes, we are now ready to determine the syntax of Java methods.
Now, before we create a method, we must first take note of the following. A method must be declared within a class. It is defined with the name of the method followed by the parentheses. Now, in my example, I have already opened my Java compiler here, and the name of my class is syntax, since it is also the same name as the project that I made earlier. We will put our method inside it. So here. Just a short trivia about methods. Did you know that the Java programming language already has predefined methods within its libraries? Some of these are the systemout.println that we're actually using to print out texts and others. And some math functions like max and min for maximum and minimum, and sum for sum. We are now ready to create our own method. First thing that we're going to type in is the header, which involves the class type, return value, and the name of our method with the parentheses and the curly braces. Now there are two types of classes, the public class and the static class. Let me just share to you about them. The methods under the public class is visible and can only be called from other objects of other types, or simply saying that it can only be called out after you have created an object associated to the same class. Now, while the static class does not, it means that the method is associated with the class and not a specific object of that class. Simply means that you can call the method out without creating an object of the class. As for the return value, I chose void, which means it has no return value, for we are going to be using the string data type for the function of our method. Next is the method name, which is hello, followed by the parentheses and the curly braces. Now, inside these curly braces is where we will type in our data for our method. For this simple example, I chose to recreate the most common output in the history of programming, which is hello world. I'm typing in systemout.println, which is also a method, followed by parentheses, the double quote, which indicates it as a string to print out, the hello world statement, and then the closing double quote and parentheses. And lastly, the ever important semicolon.
Now that we have successfully created our method, let's try to call it out. In calling out a method, we simply need to mention it inside our main method. So this is our main method. Now, the format for calling out your method is simply the name of the method, which is hello, the parentheses, and then the semicolon, and then run. Hello world. Also, you can also call out a method repeatedly. So let's try this one. Let's call it out 3 times. Voila! You have 3 hello worlds. For our next example, we won't be using the void return value. Instead, we are gonna use the integer return value or the int return value. Hi guys, so as promised earlier, we are going to be using a different return value for our next example. So let's start. I already added a new project onto my NetBeans IDE, and this one I have added the Java utility scanner. Now, scanners are used when you are going to input something in your program. So yes, you type that before the public class. Never forget that. And then let's create our method. Now, as promised, still static though. And instead of void, it's int. Now for this one, I'm gonna be naming my method addition. For that is going to be its job for the whole program. And then earlier, I told you that part of a method are the parameters. So these are the parameters. Now in variables, it only accepts x and y. And we are going to declare it here. So int for integer x and then integer y again. We are only going to be adding 2 numbers. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it brief. And then our curly braces. Next thing here is the function. Now earlier, the only function that it did was to print out, remember? This time, we are going to be determining the return value. So this is the return value. We type in return to determine the return value, and then the 2 integers. Since they are only going to be adding each other, x plus y, and then the semicolon, of course. Now in our main method, we are going to type in scanner input. Now, why did I type it in? It's because we are going to declare the scanner that we have mentioned in the first part of our program, of our code. So it would only initialize the scanner that's in their utility libraries. Now we are going to type and ask for the first number. Now if you're wondering what this line does, I simply declared this first input as an integer, and the name is first. This initializes the scanner. So this means that it's going to input whatever is typed in by the user with the first number or anything that it asks for. Now, next int stands for integer. You're getting there. We're going to work this one out. Next is the second number. Now that we have finished asking for the two numbers, we are going to print out the sum. Also, inside the system printout is our function. This one is tricky, but it's a handy shortcut. So instead of ending it with that double quote, we are going to type in the plus sign, which means that we are going to add a variable, a function, or a method. Now the name of our method is addition, followed by the parameters. So instead of x and y, see, it gave us a code which asks for x and y. So our x for this one is the first, and our y is the second. And then two closing parentheses, and we're done. Let's try to run this. Okay, enter the first number. Let's try in 1001. And then the second number, let's type in 803. And the sum of the two numbers is 1084. So there you have it, guys. That was a short, quick, but brief talk about Java methods. I sure do hope that the basics would help you in your future endeavors with exploring more about methods and your Java compiling sessions at home. Now, this has been Mary Axel Pauram. Thank you again for watching this video. Have courage, be kind, stay at home, stay safe. This has been Java 101.